Hi, everyone. Welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathy. It is nice to have you back. Thanks for showing up again. It's been a crazy day. And I did listen in as much as possible again today to the West case. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to become a member, you can do that as well. It is $2.99 a month, and you have access to the emojis and Discord and all kinds of stuff. But tonight we're going to talk about day 2 of the West trial. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm not turning on my camera tonight. Like I said, it's been a really long day, and we can just do it like this. As long as you can hear me okay, let me know if there's any problems with that. Just give me 1 second. I'm pulling up my little notes here so we can get them. Okay, so if you remember yesterday, we left off with the police officers on. Now, the beginning this morning, I didn't get right on it. I was working. I had a meeting this morning, so I got on a little bit late, and but I got a lot of stuff, so don't worry. Officer Hansen was on the stand today, and if you remember, if you were here yesterday, we talked about Officer Hansen. He was the actual lead lead officer that showed up to the house when Trezelle called for help to find the kids, etc. So he was the main dude. He was the main cop there that night, and he followed through with a lot of this stuff. They did go into a lot of the body cam stuff today. Again, a lot of it was not really super easy to hear. I know somebody in the chat earlier before I got here and I had replied, said, is this going to be, the audio of the case, or is it just somebody explaining it? And I would love for it to be the audio of the case or the video of the case, but that ain't working for us here because that court is not allowing that. So the best we can do is listen in live. You can listen in live. You got to go on the Kern County website. It's Metro Division 4 is the room. If you go on their website and you can listen in, but it's really hard because you have to listen live. So you can't pause, you can't rewind, you can't listen other than just exactly what's happening at that moment. So they asked Trezelle, Hansen was on the stand. They were looking over his body cam footage. They asked Trezelle if, how long did you drive around for? They asked him this over and over and over and over again, several times. And also, you guys, if you are here and watching, I would appreciate you hitting the like button, do that nice stuff for the content creator. Please. Thank you. That's me. So he said he drove around about 5 to 10 minutes. They said the house on Harvard. He said he went by and saw somebody at the house on Harvard and asked him if he saw the boys. They said, okay, hold on. Hold please. I got to turn on a light. My lights just went out in here and I can't see. Okay. So they said there was a house on Harvard that he went by. So I can pull up the map again. Let me pull up the map and find Aspen, California City. Aspen. Okay. Where's my map? Maps. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna share this with you. You can see this screen while I'm talking. So we can look. So apparently Trezelle went by, okay, so here's the Aspen. Here's the house. And Trezelle went to Harvard and talked to somebody on Harvard. And he was saying in the body cam footage that he would show them. So where's Harvard? Maybe I need to zoom out a little bit. No, it's not giving me the streets. It's Proctor, 108th Aspen, Glasgow, California. Cornell. Does anybody see this? Harvard? I guess I could get directions. Do you see it, anyone on there? Because I don't see Harvard, but it's probably right in front of my face. Okay, that's not what we wanted to do. It's not helping me. Did you see it, Lori? Okay, I'll print it back up. Hold on. California City. Okay, I see it too now. Let me come back to you guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's the Aspen Street. Down here, 108th Street. Harvard is over here. Took me a minute. So he said he went to a house on Harvard, and the house on Harvard, he talked to a person there. And the Hansen, the police officer, said, well, we went to that house. We went on Harvard. We went there where you said you went. We saw camera video footage, and you were never there. He flat out lies to him because we know there's no camera footage there. But remember, this is their interrogation technique where they can lie and they can try to make you crack and say, okay, you know. So it's all part of their technique to get you to basically confess or to slip up. But they do not have it. And so, they basically lied, which is kind of weird. I guess this is just a lesson to all of us to ask for an attorney, whether we're guilty or innocent, and not talk, because they can do this to you. And you're assuming, say, for example, these people are completely innocent. We don't know yet. We haven't seen all the evidence. There obviously should be some very good evidence coming forward because they are in jail and they've been tried for this. But say, for example, they are innocent, everything they're saying is literally can be twisted and used against them. So you got to be really careful with that. That is a lesson learned. Then they went in again, there's zero footprints. There's no footprints. I'm not sure. I've not been to California City. I live in the other desert. I live in the desert on the way to Arizona. And the ground gets hard packed. It's not super like sand like the beach. So I'm not sure if you would see a lot of footprints or not on that ground. I don't know. I really don't. And he says, let me go. Let me show you where I went. Let me show you what house I went to. I'll show you. And they just basically were like, no. They again brought up Mr. Dobbins across the street. He's the one with the doorbell, the Nest doorbell camera. They brought up and they said it is not a paid subscription to Nest. So he only has clips when there's movement. So I have the Nest camera too, but I do have the paid subscription and I could play it for 30 days. I can go back and look at anything. I could go all day and watch everything that went by. My Nest camera does not alert me to movement. Like people walk their dogs by all day long. I don't care. I don't want to know. But it does alert me if somebody comes to the door. And it alerts sometimes the nighttime with the headlights and the cars going by. But you can set like an area parameter for what it's going to alert you to. Hey, Loose Can, how are you? And hi, NorCal Girl. Thank you so much. How you be? I be busy as a bee. You're right. That's exactly it. Way too much going on. It's all my fault though. I do it to myself. Okay. So, Mr. Dobbins that lived right across the street, the Nest camera, we don't know. They only had small clips. In my opinion, you could easily miss the little ones walking by because my camera would, but I don't know how his is set and what his settings are and if it would alert or not. So that's kind of like, big security cameras are a whole nother thing, but these doorbell cameras are not as super reliable as you would think. They said something about this house on 108th Street, and they mentioned it being Socorro Chavez's house. Does anybody know anything about someone named Socorro Chavez? I've not heard that name before. It was my 2-year Left Undone anniversary 18 days ago. Woo woo! Hello. Yeah. Okay, I told my son I was going to be busy live streaming, and here he's calling me. Calls me all the time. Hold on, let me answer him because he'll keep calling. Okay, text him. So, anybody? She's the what? She's the wait, hold on. I missed it. I moved my finger. She's the city's HR girl. The human resources for the city? HR. What do you mean? What you mean? Would you tell me what you mean by that? Am I right? HR, like human resources, works for the city? I'll wait for you to type and tell me what that means. Yes, human resources. So she works for the city of California City at HR. Interesting. Okay. Because they brought her up. Then they responded to Cal City with they brought them into the station at like midnight, 1 a.m. They brought Trezelle and Jacqueline into the station. They started questioning them again. When was the last time you had all 6 kids together? They both had said the same thing. I think it was Saturday. I'm reading some of your comments as I'm looking at my notes too. I don't want to miss anything. You guys might have some important stuff to say too. He said Saturday. He said pretty sure Saturday. Grandmother's, took him to grandmother's house. The 4 kids. He said, well, they said to him, well, maybe the kids left in a car. And Trezelle said, oh, hell no. That means somebody took them. Like he got a little passionate about that. And he said, like, that you mean they were kidnapped? Somebody took my kids? And then they went into the bio family again with him, started asking him about the bio family. He said the only one was the auntie that showed up at our house. They said when? He said in 2019. Okay, so across the street had camera, and if you're facing the house, the guy to the left. Those are the only cameras that they've been able to bring up in court that have been seeing anything at all. And the one to the left, Mike, who is that guy, he owns that house over there, the cameras that turned him over to the police. He was on the stand yesterday, very briefly. And yesterday he said he never reviewed the footage again, which is not true because we all saw that on YouTube. So I'm a little confused by that. So he said the auntie, one of the aunts of the boys, bio aunt, showed up at their house in 2019, and they said, but he wouldn't know. They wouldn't know where we're at. We wouldn't know where they were at. They wouldn't know where we're at now. They wouldn't be able to find us in Cal City. And, because they really seem to believe they were very well hidden from anybody ever knowing where they're at since they moved out of Bakersfield. But I mean, people can find people and people know people. So I don't know why they are so sure that nobody would ever know where they're at. And And then he said something about how would they have the resources to do this. And then they started talking about the dogs, which dog was inside, which dog was outside. The big dog was inside, the smaller dog's the big dog, something about the big. And it was, again, the audio was really kind of crappy to hear. Then he said he went to 1109 Potomac to talk to the other children. Oh, we're wrong. Okay, wait. Socorro is the city's city clerk today. Okay. Wonder why they brought her up. They just randomly brought her up, but they didn't elaborate on that at all. I'm sure it'll come up, though. Someone said this trial's supposed to go to June. The news people did. Is that true? This is going to be long. We got 3 trials to watch right now, or to listen to, or to report on, or to pay attention to. The Vallow Daybell trial, Latricia Stout, and then this one. So they said they went to Grandma's house, which is Wanda West, and he was like, what was the name of the grandparents? And he said, I don't know. He said, do you want to look at your report and what remind you? He said, yes. He looked at, Wanda and Philip West. And he spoke to the kids, the 4 boys. He says that he talked to each kid separately. They were all asleep, and he woke them up one at a time and brought them out and talked to them. And then they didn't go into what they said at this point. But they asked about, like, the defense or the prosecution attorney asked him, what do you do to make sure kids know what they're talking about? And he said there's a PC 26 form. If a child's under 14, you have to make sure they understand what right and wrong is, what a lie and truth is, what something good is, something bad. So they ask them these questions to see if they're capable of understanding what the questions that are coming, and they write it all down, exactly what they say, he said. And then he says, if it's successful, what do you do? And he said, then we ask our questions. So it was like 8:30 a.m. when he was there. He sat him at the kitchen table one by one. And then after he was done asking each kid, he went back to Cal City. AV Watchman has evidence from some of the camera footage from Mike on his channel before Cal City PD confiscated footage. Yes, that's exactly it. And I did a video and got ripped apart because I ripped it apart. Because I was like, you can't really see from that. So yeah, that was a really interesting video, but he posted it and I posted it. Me and my people here, we kind of picked through it and we're like, wait, I don't see this and I see that and da-da-da. So that was interesting. But I remember him being in Mike's house on that video and talking to him. The other children were at Grandma West's house when the boys went missing. Right. They were. They went over all that. They covered all that. They took them on Saturday. They were there. This was Monday when the boys went missing. So anyway, again, you guys, with this, I'm not going into the whole speculation, what I think and what they think and what you think and everybody thinks, because we all know, we followed this case now for 2 years. And a lot of people truly believe that this is a big fat lie from the West. Some people believe that the Wests are telling the truth. There's a lot of speculation. There's been so much social media buzz about this. There's been very passionate. There's been bio family people searching and other people searching. Several YouTube channels popped up during this case. People were yelling and screaming at the West house. It became a big circus. So I'm really trying to stay away from that right now, and just tell you what I heard in the trial. And then we can go back on that. Yes, everybody heard all this stuff. They were gone for 3 months, everything. And then the opening statement, the prosecution did cover some of that. I missed the opening statement, so I'm really bummed because this cannot be recorded. You have to listen live. And anyway, he went back to the house on Aspen. There's some body camera footage there. He said December 23rd, but I believe it's December 22nd. Um, that the timeline's a little weird there because I think they got it wrong. You hear him knocking on the body cam. He comes in. They give him a photo. They give the Jacqueline and Trezelle a photo lineup. No problem. No, I totally understand. No, I understand. And there's a lot to discuss, and there's a lot of reasons to go, wait, hold on. Did this happen? Did that happen? But again, yeah, I mean, like we said, we've been doing that. So it's like, what happened? Now I'm just super interested to see the evidence, right? You know what I mean? Like we all are. Then they called it Exhibit 8, body cam. They knocked, they came in, they gave them a photo lineup of people. They said, do you recognize any of these people in here? They were looking at it and they picked one. They said number 5 looks kind of like could be the auntie. And they said, okay. But they were looking at it. Obviously, we can't see, which really stinks. So, and then they were looking at more and they're like, this person looks a little bit familiar. I'm not sure. They talked to Jackie. The FBI has been there to Jackie's mom's home by then, she said. Jacqueline's mom, Maria. The FBI had already been to their house, she told this police officer. They said, when did the kids last see your mom? She said before they moved to Cal City, and they moved to Cal City in September. Then they asked her about Thanksgiving. What did you do for Thanksgiving? Who did you have Thanksgiving with? And then they said they had Thanksgiving with just us. And they're like, just us as who? She said, me and the kids. And you got to remember that isn't that's not such a stretch because that Thanksgiving I didn't spend with anybody because that was 2020 pandemic, right? Everybody was staying in still. They talked to Trezelle's mom. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Yeah, they said they talked to Trezelle's mom on Saturday. Oh, Jackie and Trezelle talked to Trezelle's mom on Saturday on the phone, I guess, either before or after they brought the kids. They asked him what the kids do. Do they have chores in the house? She said, yeah, they clean up their room and toys. They said, how do you punish the kids? She said, no playtime, no TV. They can read books. So they take privileges away. I believe the kids are going to, I don't know if all the kids are going to take the stand, but there's 4 of them. So I believe at least some of them are going to take the stand. Then they said, what do you guys do? Jackie says, I do art. Trezelle does music. He does beats. So he sells beats. She does art. He said, what kind of art do you do? And she's like, she pointed, I guess, at art in her house that she did. And, I mean, selling beats can be very lucrative. You sell a good beat, you're going to make some good freaking money. So I don't know if you ever sold a really good beat, but my son used to do that and he would make beats and sell them. So, it's interesting. I was like, this is a thing when he was doing that. But I'm sure it's very competitive. They were very concerned about the media being out in front and the people being out in front. Chalk was not the dog's name. That is not true. We laid that rumor to rest yesterday and before. It's not. That already got figured out. It is not the dog's name. You heard they would all take the stand? We'll see. I hope they do. I'd love to see what they say, but I think it's going to be really difficult for them. They're going to have to see their parents probably for the first time in 2 years and sit there and talk about them. I don't want to be in any of those people's shoes. Those poor kids. Like, that's awful. And talk about feeling really. No, it's not. I know, but people keep saying that. They play with chalk, and they were talking about the dog. They were talking about the chalk, and I can see how people can hear that because it made sense when the way he was saying it. It made sense how you could think the dog's name was Chalk, but it's not. Um, okay, and I'm trying to watch your. I'm trying. If I sound like I'm stopping and you can't see me right now, I'm looking at your comments as I'm looking over at my notes at the same time, back and forth. So if I get quiet, that's what I'm doing. No, he didn't. He didn't say that. He didn't say Chalk was the dog's name. They were talking about the dogs and they were talking about Chalk. They were playing with Chalk, but they were the dog, and then they were asking a bunch of questions about the dogs. So it was really confusing. But he did name the dogs today. We have all thought that the dog was Chalk at one time or another, for sure. They came across very confusing. What video did you see? What video did you see that called him Chalk? There's a video. Okay, so they're concerned about the media. The officer told them you need to just keep to yourselves and stay in the house. And because it's crazy out there, there's people, there's media, so they told them right there to keep to yourselves. Okay, sorry, I'm skipping I wrote something about not many issues, but not as much as during the pandemic. I don't know what that. Oh, no money. They were asking him about money issues. Do you have money issues right now? Are you having any financial issues? And she says, well, yes, he did. That is where it came from. And then he drove up when the Josiah and Philip were walking a dog. He drove up and he said, Chalk. Look, and he said, look, the dog turned when I said Chalk. So, but honest to God, what does it matter really, truly, if they were playing with Chalk the dog or if they play with Chalk, it still doesn't mean, it really gives us nowhere either way. Playing with Chalk on the sidewalk, coloring, or a dog. I mean, honestly, it doesn't give us any information, does it? I don't think so. Okay, so we're light. It's getting dark. She said, well, it's a pandemic. Everything's more expensive. Things are blah, 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 blah. We're not having money issues per se, but things are tighter, basically, is how I'm paraphrasing. They asked him how much money they get. She says, we get $800 a month for the adopted children, because he was asking about financial issues. So I don't know if it's per child. I didn't catch that, but that makes sense. It would be $800 per child. So that'd be 4 times 800, because somebody was saying 4,000. It was 1,000 a month, but she said 800. And then he was asking about their Christmas tree. Where'd you get your Christmas tree? She said, oh, I bought it like the last day at Ace. It was on sale. I bought it at Ace. She said, did the kids decorate the tree? She said, yes. She said, so what were they doing when you were wrapping present stuff? She says, playing with Chalk, playing with the dogs and balls. So that kind of made you think that they were talking about Chalk, dogs, and Chalk, and playing with Chalk, the dogs, balls. There's balls out there, she said. She said I could have been doing any of that. And she said normally they're inside, and then during school, when the older kids are in school, the little ones play in their bedroom, because the other older ones are doing school. And then they asked her about moving. Who helped you move? She said, me and my husband did it ourselves. And and then so that they're trying to see if like anybody helped you move. Did they see the kids when you were moving? But she said, my husband and I did it ourselves. We put it in the van. I said, what were you doing? She said, wrapping presents, fed the cat. She said, I missed a robe that I was going to wrap. She burned the soup, she said, that night. I guess she's trying to say she burned the soup because they were freaking, all of a sudden realized the kids were missing and started freaking out and the soup was on the stove. That's what I'm thinking she was getting at there. Then they asked her again, do you know anybody that would take the kids? And she said, I know someone that would take them, but they don't know where we live. They asked him when they got married. They got married in 2010. He said, oh, you got stockings for the kids, Christmas stockings. Did the kids pick out their own stockings? She said, yes. And they kind of pointed out the stockings. The Spider-Man and Darth Vader is what I think they said were Orrin and Orson's. They picked out theirs. One Orrin or Orson, one picked out Spider-Man, the other Darth Vader, she said. And then they named the other stockings. And then they asked him if they would do a cheek swab. And they were like, yeah. And then they asked her about her phones. And she said, well, we just got new phones this month. And she said we were going to trade in, but we wound up getting new phones. My phone I need a new phone. So we just got like new phones and a new plan. Then they were saying, well, we need to take your phones. We want your phones. And they were like, how are we going to communicate with people if you take our phones? He said, well, we might have to take them for a while and then give them back. That was the opening statement. Opening statement isn't evidence. We have to find the evidence. We have to hear the evidence. But yes, they did say that in the evidence. So, they did say that in the opening statement. So I'm assuming whatever they put in their opening statement, they're going to somehow bring it into court, right? And prove it. They asked how long they've been married. They got married in 2010. I already said that. They said they'd do the cheek swab. They got the new phones. And then they said something about, we'll give it back later. And then they asked about Josiah. He's like, do you talk to your brother or your dad or whatever? He's like, no, my dad, or something like that. He's like, why? You don't have to talk to your dad. Oh, no, my dad and I were really close, but my brother Josiah is really lazy and, just blah, blah, blah about that for whatever reason. Then they ended the body cam footage on that point. And have you guys anybody in here ever been on a jury? I'm just curious. Like, just say yes if you've been on a jury. Like, in what kind of case? Like, was it like a felony or was it like just a civil case? I'm just curious if anybody's ever been on a jury in the United States of America. Because I did, and I really respected the system, and I learned a lot. And you really, really, really have to just have a complete open mind. You can't make up your mind during the trial. You literally have to hear every single piece of evidence before you make a decision. Your mind tries to go one way or another as you're sitting there. I'm not convinced yet. You can relate to some things they say and stuff. But then when you go into deliberate, it's really interesting because you're thinking, oh my gosh, I hope these people are thinking what I'm thinking, And when I did the trial I did was about 5 years ago. Oh, thank you, Mama D. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Truly, thank you. And thank you for being a member. You're like, what are these people going to say? So when we went in to deliberate, I was convinced that this guy was innocent, that when the trial I was in. We sat down and everybody's like, oh, thank God, we can finally talk. It was like a relief. And our trial was literally only 3 days. 3 days. So I can only imagine being there in this long trial, sitting next to these people, going and eating lunch with these people and zipping your mouth and not saying anything. It's like just when you can finally talk. But But it was interesting. And literally everybody except for one guy in our trial had the exact right off the bat. I think he's innocent. I think he's innocent. I think he's innocent. I think he's innocent. One guy's like, I don't. He said, but I have reasonable doubt. We deliberated. We all talked. We picked a foreman, and it was really pretty easy. So Stace on the case. I was on traffic jury and inadvertently lied about not knowing anyone involved in the case. The man who got the ticket in the school zone wanted to know who the lady was that did not. It was my mom. What? Wait a minute. Hold on. I was inadvertently lied about not knowing anyone involved in the case. The man who got the ticket in the school zone wanted to know who the lady was that did not. I don't understand. Restate that. Restate that, please. Because I'm curious now, but I don't understand. It was your mom, but what was your mom? The guy was not your mom. Like, right. If Kern County asked me to be on the jury for this case, I would tell them I cannot. I've watched hours and hours of people searching for these boys. I'm biased. Right, for sure. I don't think any of us that have followed it could be but unbiased at this point. We know too much, right? Thank you, Carrie. Very much appreciate that too. Thank you very much. Very, very, very kind of you. Very nice. And thank you for being a member as well. A loyal Lou. My members are loyal Lou's. Right, Stephanie? Yeah, that's how you feel about, like, don't call me. I followed this case too long. You know what? I just got excused from jury duty. I was supposed to be on jury duty on next Monday. I'm like, I can't. No. So I got excused because I do take care of my mom, and she lives with me, and she's 85. So it worked. And it's kind of scary too, because your work only pays so much money. I can't really afford to be on a long case. Like, it's, then, okay, back to this. So then they were looking for the photos, and then they gave some photos they brought out was People's 19, and there was picture of toothbrushes and diapers. And the diapers were a size 6 in one of the bedrooms. He didn't remember which one. And they were not used diapers. They were in the packaged diapers. Christian, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Another loyal Lou member. Thank you so much. And thank you for the donation. Very much appreciated. Thank you. And so they said they looked for diapers in the house, like in the trash can, dirty diapers. There were no dirty diapers. They didn't find any dirty diapers. They're 3 and 4. My kids were all potty trained well before those ages. I don't know if these kids were potty trained. I don't know if they'll ask anybody if they were potty trained. I know I always still had diapers. If I had some left over from when they were potty trained, I probably kept them for emergencies, or if they were sick, or if something happened, or if somebody came over and needed to borrow a diaper or whatever. So what are they being charged with, Jenny? Murder. Second-degree murder and hiding the bodies and false report of missing children or something like that. There's a bunch of charges on there. I agree with you on that one, Justice Jane. I would like to see new legislation for the public to be able to watch trials live stream. From my understanding, it's now up to the judges. I know it's just kind of a mess. I mean, you could go there. They can't keep you out of the courtroom, but not everybody lives local anymore. It's a big freaking world, you know what I mean? And we have social media, and we have this technology, and I think we should be able to use it. Those are the cloth diaper days. Yeah. And my motivation was I had my first baby, and then I was pregnant with the next one, and I didn't want to buy diapers for two kids. So I got him potty trained right when the baby was born, and they are 22 months apart. And then I had the next one 26 months later. So I made sure both those two, the next one, number 2, was potty trained too. So I didn't have to buy double diapers. And then my daughter, she was just a piece of cake. She was number 3. She potty trained herself. She was like, I see her sitting on the potty one time. She was like 18 months old. I'm like, what are you doing? Go potty. I'm like, really? Okay. Never wore a diaper again. It was like the weirdest thing. She just did what the boys did. So, so I have a little bit of like, with the diaper thing. The diapers were size 6. They were 3 and 4. Did they really have to wear diapers every day? I don't know, and why weren't they wearing pull-ups? Was it really diapers? If they weren't completely trained, but, I don't know. I've gone back and forth of that one since I heard it this morning. Hi, Lori Day. Thank you very much. My mod, my loyal Lou, another member. All my members are so cool. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lori, and for all your help too. My mom said we hated pacifiers, but I don't believe it. She hated them. She'd literally tell other people's kids, give me that plug. I know, right? I'm like, my granddaughter still has that pacifier in her mouth. And I'm like, you're going to be sorry. Those braces are going to be terrible because they mess up your mouth. Get that out of there. But I don't say anything because I'm a grandmother and I don't want anybody mad at me. Not my deal. I've not said a word. Hope she's not listening. Yeah, sometimes they do need diapers longer at night, for sure. My kids did, but not much further into like 2.5. But it was just weird. I was just super motivated to get those kids potty trained. Freaking money. It was all about money. So the diapers and the toothbrushes. The toothbrushes thing, I missed a little bit of that because I was working, but he said something about the toothbrushes being dry or stuck or something like that. And I missed it. I don't know if anybody else heard it. Okay, moving on. Then they talked about, he took pictures from all the entrances around the property. The door faced east, backyard, street, west, and made a drawing about everything, the property. Made a drawing of the property. Okay. And after lunch. Okay, we're back after lunch. I changed my pen color so I would know what happened here. So Hansen's still on the stand. They talk about the pictures of the yard, the house. They talk about Minecraft eating mats. I'm assuming there's placemats. Minecraft is with, you have the placemats that you buy at Walmart or Target that have different things on them. There were Minecraft placemats. Talked about the unused diapers, size 6, no dirty diapers, toothbrushes, no sippy cups. And they were like, why is that a concern, or whatever? The prosecution, he was like, well, my kids, when they were 3 and 4, they used sippy cups. And then the defense objected to that, speculation, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. My kids didn't use sippy cups at 3 and 4. They were using regular cups, but plastic cups, not glasses, but they were using regular cups, just the little ones. But those lids were long gone by then because lids are hard to keep anyway. Yeah, see, so we're all different. So you can't, that was what was kind of annoying to me, just based on like all these, like, well, my kids, well, what I would do, well, what I did, well, my kids, like the cops kept referring everything to what they do and what their life is like. I don't think that's really a great way to go about it. I think it's more about like, well, my kids had sippy cups. I'd be like, I don't know. I just think there'd be a better way to go about it. Oh, Ruby, thank you very much. Thank you. My mod, my loyal Lou, again, much appreciated. Thank you. My sippy cup was a can of Coca-Cola like a crap. Ah, the good old days, huh? The good old days. Then they played the video of the press conference. We could hear the audio. And I thought, oh, are they going to play the whole thing when the other people start yelling at them and everything? And they did. They played the whole thing. And we've all seen that one a million times. The press conference where they're talking, Trezelle and Jackie are out there, and oh my God, my brain. They're asking questions, the news media is asking questions and stuff. And then they answering and talking about what they were doing and what happened, where the kids were. Why haven't you been outside? Why haven't you been outside? Everybody else is out here. And they said, well, the police told us to stay put. And that is true. They did. We're hearing it now on the body cam footage. You're very welcome. Did you got in your dad's beer? Accidentally, huh? My kids like to steal sips of whatever we were drinking. Like, give me that. No, don't do that. They asked if they spoke to what? I can't read my own handwriting sometimes. Then they talked about like the FBI people that were there. They said there was no items of Orrin and Orson's. They were telling him there's no items of Orrin and Orson's. I guess we're back to a body cam, or no, the closed caption. Let me see the in the thing. Bakersfield interview search warrants. Yes. So somebody named Louis James, the FBI, they were there helping. They had other Bakersfield agency came to help. They did interviews, search warrants, and they then said okay, so we are back to the footage. That's where we're at. Back at the station, they're questioning Trezelle. That's where they're at now. And so then they're like, while they're talking, they're like, by the way, you can leave. You can get up and leave anytime. You're not being held. You can say stop. You can say I'm leaving anytime you want. They made sure to have that on the record, I'm sure. Hold on one second. Mods, watch the comments, please. There's rude people showing up. Thank you so much. I just blocked somebody. Or put them in timeout. But if they come back and say anything else, you please just boot them. We don't do trolls here, please. Thank you very much. Only respectful people allowed in my stream. Nobody disrespectful, rude, mean is allowed here. It is just the rule. It's my channel, and that's the way it goes. And we have a very nice community of people. We all can have different opinions, and I like that. I like being able to discuss things. It's how my brain works. I think it's really interesting. I learn things from other people. People see things that I don't see. So anyone that's a jerk in here, get rid of them. Please. Thank you. I know you missed it. It's okay. I got him. That's why I stopped. We're mature people in this channel. This isn't a late night, go out on the town channel. It's just not. Thank you for becoming a sub. I really appreciate that. Nice to meet you and see you, Ms. Justice 1111. Canada. We got a lot of good, nice Canadians in our community. Thank you. And and I appreciate you guys. I know a lot of us have different opinions and different ways of looking at these cases and different things, but I think in the end, we're all on the same page. We want justice. Justice for these boys. Where are these boys? Like, what is happening? Why are they missing? Where'd they go? Are they dead? Did they get killed? Did the parents kill them? Whatever. Let's hope this trial solves that and they get justice. I would love for them to be alive somewhere, though. I mean, that would be amazing. That would be a happy ending. And hi, Teresa Fountain. So they tell him you're free to leave whenever you want. you can leave. Then he starts asking him, do you have any friends? What do you do for fun? He's like, no, I don't really have any friends. He's like, oh, really? Because I have friends. I like to hang out and watch football with my friends. Again, projecting what he likes to do on Trezelle. Not every guy likes to watch football. Not every guy likes to. They have 6 kids. So I'm not convinced that that's a bad thing either. Maybe he's just a homebody and he likes to be with his family, or maybe he's just a very much a loner, or maybe he's just an asshole and he killed his kids and he don't hang out with other people, So I know. I guess that's kind of that would be like the best case scenario. I mean, it would suck because they're gone and these people got, this is just if, this is a speculation. That would be the best case scenario, that the bio family has somewhere, because they're with if that was the case, they're alive and they're with somebody that loves them and really wanted them so bad that they went and took them back, right? Oh, I follow the Daybell case. Absolutely. 100% more than any other case I've ever followed. Yeah. Gonna follow that deeply. And we have one of our members that is going to go to the trial for us and come report, and we'll go live. And she's going to start her channel up and report live every day. And she's going to also stream over here with me to talk about what happened each day on the trial. So yes, we do. Yes, Daybell. I think it's most of us came together over the Daybell case, to be honest. Okay. No local friends, whatever. They only moved there to Cal City during the pandemic. So sometimes it takes a while to make new friends, neighborhood friends and stuff. And I don't feel like that neighborhood is like that kind of neighborhood, like cul-de-sac, kids playing on the street kind of neighborhood, which sucks because they have kids. Be nice if it was that kind of neighborhood. And so when they were talking to Trezelle, they were asking him about Orrin as a baby and Orson. He was talking about the kids, like the broken leg. They got him because he had a broken femur, went into the system because as a baby, he had a broken leg. They got him later, I think. And then he said, and Orson lost him to the system. Just kind of talking about the foster care of the kids and how they got into the system. And then he went into how, I think it was Orrin. Well, I don't have it marked, but one of the little boys was very, very cry. Anytime somebody left him, he had basically was kind of saying he has abandonment issues. Like when mom would come and go, when people would visit him that were nice, when the social workers would come and they'd talk to him sweet and nice, and then they'd leave, he'd cried a lot. He done it like anybody leaving. He made it kind of talked about that a lot, that he was really cry. Let's see. Yes, she did want them back. She really wanted them back. She didn't want to lose them. So then they talked about the dogs. They talked about a neighbor that lives behind. He said something about the neighbors behind them. Somebody just got out of prison. And then they took a 15-minute break. Then it was just more of this. Then it was just more of this stuff, like talking and listening, the body cam stuff. And then they were talking to Trezelle, and he was answering all his questions about the kids. Like, this one could be an astronaut. He's really smart, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then they came down on him really hard at this point. They said, you know what? You're lying to us. And he's like, what? They said, these kids have not been seen in weeks. And then he said, you're showing zero emotion to Trezelle. Your wife is not showing any emotion. And you know where these babies are. You need to tell us. You need to come clean. You know where these babies are. And Trezelle was like, I don't know where they are. And then he's like, look, Trezelle, your demeanor just changed, just completely changed. You were all talking and then all of a sudden I said that and your demeanor changed. And he said, Trezelle says, well, I trusted this process. I thought you were helping me find my children, my boys. I thought you were helping me find them. And now you're telling me that I'm lying and I know where they are. And then he said, well, we went and talked to all 4 of your other kids this morning. All of them, we talked to them all separately, and they all had the same story. They said they hadn't seen the babies in weeks. And he said, your wife is telling completely different stories than you are, a completely different story. And they just were like, your wife's telling a completely different story than you. And he's like, well, everybody sees things a little bit different or whatever. He's like, no, completely. Now, that's more of that ruse. They're lying because I'm pretty sure from everything I've heard so far that Jackie and Trezelle's story are very, very close, if not identical, which could be weird too, right? If they're super identical. But they're telling him that Jackie's telling them something different than he's telling them. And they're like, you're a liar. And so he did not waver. So I don't know, I'm trying to look at it from both sides. Like, if he's innocent and they're calling him a liar, how horrible would that feeling be, that you're like concerned your boys are gone, missing, and somebody took them and now you're being accused of it? Or if he really did it, he'll be like, well, I'm not going to change my story now. Like, throw on to me, right? So I just think it's really bizarre. Yeah, your buddy just told us the truth. I think it's such a crappy thing, though. But I guess if you say that and somebody really is innocent, they're going to still be like, well, I have no idea why they would tell you anything different than I'm telling you, because this is the truth. Like, you would never change your story if you're telling the truth. I mean, but some people do too. But they didn't. I mean, they didn't confess to anything. So, and then that was it. And they stopped and they're starting again tomorrow morning. So Officer Hansen was the only witness today. And they're not lying in court, but this is the body cam and the footage they're talking to him in, that they're showing in court. So they're showing all that. Now, so most of today was literally a little bit of questioning and a lot of footage of the officers' body cams and the hospital, the police station where they were questioning Trezelle. A lot of that, a lot of noise, a lot of small talk too going on. Like, they were there forever. But I think they really did a lot of small talk with him first, and then they came in and they were like, you're lying, I really need it. But I'm really confused about that. If they're making up that all 4 kids had the same story, I guess we'll find out, right? Because those kids are going to show up on the stand if it's the truth. I'd be a little nervous putting kids on the stand like that, because I'm thinking once they see their parents' face, will they change their story? Hi, Percy. You're fine. My dog, he puts me on a time limit, I think. Come on, they should have been out there searching every house. There's a possibility the boys have been kidnapped. Yes, the police definitely should have been knocked. They did not go in houses. This is what bothered me yesterday, that they messed up this investigation, because they didn't go in houses. They didn't take people's names they talked to. They didn't take any of the names of the people searching. They didn't go to any of the sex offenders' houses in the area. Those kids, if they were taken, could have been swept away in a car, could have been taken from behind, could have wandered away, and then somebody nabbed them. Some shady neighbor saw 2 little kids and took the opportunity. But so go to the houses. Like, check the people, check the sex offenders. I don't know how old you have to be to take the stand. I would think some of it would be more, if they're littler, I think it would be like they would show an interview with like a social worker or some psychologist or somebody like sitting with them in a safe place. And then they would just show that video of the interview with the kids instead of putting them on the witness stand in front of their parents. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Let's see. I'm going to look at your notes. Your comments. There's the truth and the real truth. Rosie, did Trezelle talk about going to the bank the day after he dropped the other kids off? I thought he said his mom came with them and Jackie went in the back of the van. I don't remember hearing that. But again, you guys, I can't completely, I apologize, but I can't completely focus. Thank you, Stephanie, for the super sick sticker. I really appreciate that. Really much so. Thank you so much for being here and being part of our community. Let's see. They didn't believe their story. Right off the bat, they didn't believe their story. I don't know what kind of feeling they had when they when they got the call in the first place. It's very strange. I'm not a police officer, but I am a nurse and I have to pay attention to a lot of different information that comes at me when people are talking. And I feel like I have a really good gut feeling. So, maybe they do too, about people, what they say, if someone's telling the truth or lies. My gut never steers me wrong at work. So they did talk about the presents. Yes. And I missed part of that. I heard her saying there was something she was talking about. He's like, well, what's that? What is that? And I missed it. So I didn't put it in there because I missed it. I heard it kind of go by in my ear, but I was busy. It would be nice, like, if anybody else is listening to this, if you want to add in anything, please do, because again, I'm working and I'm multitasking, and sometimes you miss a lot when you're multitasking. So like, I'm calling all my patients during the breaks and before it starts, and then after it ends, and then charting while I'm, putting in all my assessments and stuff while we're listening. And then pausing it if call comes in. And so I'm missing some spots. But I did hear her say something about what the gifts were. And he was like, what's that? It was like big something or something, action figures or something like that. Okay. What was the deal with the gift bag they found outside the fence? Something about that. It had the boy's name on it. But then somebody said it was just one of the people that were concerned about the boys had put it there. And this was all from like 2 years ago, so my brain's a little bit foggy on that. But they discovered that that's what it was, like somebody had left it there or something. They went Christmas shopping. Did they catch them on video anywhere? And no kids. That would be a good thing to see. It was a gift from a searcher. That's what it was. So they had put it there. You know how they were making that little like memorial for them right off the bat, putting things down there, teddy bears and flowers and this and that. Somebody put a gift bag there. That's what I remember. Yeah, it would be interesting to see, but I'm a little annoyed with Cal City Police because right off the bat, I think they made some big mistakes in this investigation by not really dotting their I's, crossing their T's, asking people, getting names, and then the fact that they lie to these guys about, we got video surveillance, we see you, we didn't see you go there, we didn't see you go to that house. It's a little much, but I don't know, maybe it's a good technique. But it didn't make him crack and confess, so I don't know. They have footage from neighbors' Ring video that shows no kids for some time. The neighbor, Mr. Dobbins across the street ring video is not that great. It's literally Mr. Dobbins video camera does not have a paid account. So all they could see is recent small clips when there was any kind of movement. So it's not that great, unfortunately. It's not that great a video footage. No, they never confessed. And they've never changed their story. Thought it was in the back alleyway or something. I know, because we've heard so many things. That's why I'm really trying to focus. You know what I mean? Like, we're focusing really hard on what's happening in the trial, what's allowed in. The on the side, Mike, the neighbor, Mike, there's a whole empty lot between his house and their house. And you can see the van coming and going. Trezelle did say when they got home with the kids after dropping the other kids off, he said they were sleeping. He said, did they walk in or carry? He said, I don't know if he said both of them were carried in or one of them was carried in, which is what I thought I saw on that video footage, that they were carrying the little ones. So I don't know. That was really hard to see. I looked at it so many times. Okay, I'm going to actually send the link right now to Holly, Idaho Mom Reports, because she was at the Lori Vallow hearing this morning. So I'm going to let her come on in and talk about it for a little bit, okay? She can tell us what happened there. If you're following the Daybell case, stick around. Let me get her the link here to invite her in. And I'm just going to find out how these work with my messages. Oh. Okay, wait a minute. Why can't I see? Hold on, I'm coming. Where's these? Sorry, guys. I'm having technical issues. Okay. Copy. I'm just trying to find out how I can get my messenger up on my computer here. Here we go. That's not right. It's kind of weird. I got to get her email because it's not working for me to send it to my phone. Hold, please. Hold, please. So stick around if you want to hear Holly. Come on in, Idaho. What is your name again? Idaho Mom Reports. Jeez Louise, I need to go to bed. Okay. It's coming right now. I'm sending it. All right, guys. Thank you for your patience. Yes, Trezelle did give the DNA swab. That's right. I heard that too. He said, I don't have a problem with that. Yes, Lori will still have to stand trial in Arizona. So whatever happens here, let's hope worse happens there. Oh my gosh, Ruby, go to bed. Aren't you tired? We'll keep this pretty brief though. She's just going to come on and tell us about the case because it's 7:41 here my time. And there you are. What are you concerned about? What issues here? Hi. Okay. I gotcha. I'm gonna let you in. You ready? Here
Hi,
she is.
Kathy. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. How are
Super.
you? I know you're
Um,
busy.
I'm good. I'm tired.
I
I feel like
I
I'm
know.
multitasking
Thank
everything
you.
right now.
I have to tell you though, thank you for so much for carrying the West case. I've seen you, and then I've also seen 10 to Life, and that's really
Okay.
all I've seen. And I appreciate you doing it so much. I wish every case got as much attention as the Daybell case. I really do.
I know, I do too. And those West case really surprises me because there were so many channels, Duty Ron, there were a lot of channels following it, and they have not said a word this week, which I find is
I
really unusual.
I find it unusual. Me too. And so I know you're so busy. Yeah, you're taking the time, and I really appreciate it. And of course, when we're done, I'm gonna see if there's a way I can help you out over the next few days with the West case. I'd say selfishly looking at the Daybell case. It's not selfish. It's just
No, I know. Yeah.
I know
My
how you
mission.
feel because yeah, we're all out to help anybody really, and I just stepped in just because I'm here really, and but in any case today, and of course I texted you a million times. This happened, and you're so gracious with every text I sent you. Um, but
No, and
thanks.
like I said, just text me all you want. If I don't answer, it's just because I'm in the middle of work stuff.
I figured, and so I really appreciate uh, our Discord members, especially Carrie, that let me know about this morning, and it worked out just fine. I was able to make all my appointments this afternoon, so I showed up, and it got a little late start, so it looks like it started about 10:55 a.m., and I'd say it ended about 11:20, and sure, so. In the meantime, I met Lori Vallow, who of course is very gracious. She I would have found the courtroom without any problem, but she was gracious enough to, oh, it's this way, and I
Oh,
chatted with her a
nice.
bit, and
Oh,
she's I really I've really come to appreciate and admire her and yours too, the logical approach. I mean, I want to get emotional just like everybody else and scream, but I think we all know, especially if we've been following this case for a long time, it's just we've got to stay rational and hopeful. And of course, it's fine to vent. We're going to vent because that's just how things are. But I've appreciated her and Scott Reich and other people that
yeah.
had taken the time to explain the legal process to us and
Yes.
help us
So
understand that.
helpful. Hmm.
And I overheard you when you were talking about. By the way, here's to all the nurses who have protected kids by sending I have read many reports where the child abuse would have gone unnoticed if it weren't for a nurse, and I even get a little. It makes me a little emotional thinking about it. We've all got to do our part. And you're doing more than your part. So thanks. But anyway, so back to the case today. So um, I was a. I tried making a reservation last night, but that wasn't required. Just trying to cover my bases. I found parking no problem. I'd say there was about 30 people in attendance, including media, and I did see. I think I did see some people in the hallway. Jim Archibald walked past me at one time. By the way, he's a lot thinner in person. Just FYI, in case anybody cares. And I just kind of saw faces of people and saw the blimpie sandwiches go by, and there were, just typical courtroom stuff. And so I walked in, and I, as we all stood for, all rise and all that, I kind of looked across the room, and I was like, she looks familiar, and she was looking right in my direction, and it really was Lori Daybell. She didn't seem to see me, and I have to tell you now, the podium, I could see her attorneys, but the podium just happened to block her face exactly, but I could see her attorneys, but she's stuck. I mean, she's seated right between her attorneys, so she's a little shorter, and but I was listening and taking notes anyway. So I did notice, by the way, towards the end of trial, when we all stood again, she kept her eyes down at the table. So I don't know if I missed any of the smirks or any of the eyeball rolls or any of her stuff, any of what she does, what we've seen her do. I didn't see any of that, but it could be because I couldn't see her face the entire time. I'm reporting on her appearance not to be mean or snarky. It's just I do think that people. Well, it's just
we want to know. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, I'll just say, okay. Remember the day where her hair looked like it needed a wash? She must today. Tuesdays must not be a wash day or something, because today her hair did. Now, it was raining in Boise. I will give her that. My hair didn't look the greatest either. So it could have been that, but it did. I will say it did look like maybe it's been a few days since her shampoo day, which is fine. And she had that headband in, but it just wasn't the bouncy curls that we have to give her. It is impressive that she can do that in jail, and I'm sure being a hairdresser will help her out in jail, making friends. Right. And it just is. And I told you, I've worked in maximum security. It is the worst, and I'm not saying I'm against the death penalty or for the death penalty, but if it helps with anything, I can promise at least the maximum security is not a place I'd want to be. I liked everybody I worked with. It wasn't that. It's just I didn't like the environment. It was horrible. I still smell it. It's gross. So there's that. But of course, there are a lot of people that deserve to be there. And I say that as a bleeding heart type, working in helping professions. Yes. The people I met, the people I worked, deserve to be there. And mostly for a lot of reasons. Society is protected with having people there, and that's just a fact. Unfortunately, it just is. The judge got right to business today, and I felt that his tone was, candid, professional. I have seen a lot of courtrooms before. To me, it just seemed pretty typical. And however, as I listened on, and by the way, Lori Hillis did make a good point. This wasn't brought up by either the prosecution or the defense. So this was brought up by Judge Boyce, which is fine. I'm not going to say, he's got some devious intentions. However, I think people should know and make their own decisions. So it seems that the motion came from him, which is fine. It did not come from the defense. It did not come from the prosecution. However, I will say, I think we can all agree that the defense really does have every reason to want Kay and Larry in that courtroom as little as possible. And I mean that as the biggest compliment to Kay and Larry, because we all know what a powerhouse they are. We know how their presence is felt. Look what they did. Where would we be? Yeah. The strength of that. I know we can all feel it, because if we've been following it for a while, it's just Kay has that strength and that tenacity. I've seen parents give up, grandparents give up, or not even try, but she has kept. I admire that woman. So I don't blame the defense if it is in fact a ploy to try and keep her out of the courtroom as much as possible. However, it could be. I do think it might be Judge Boyce trying to cover his bases, and I'm hoping he's acting with as an ethical judge. I assume he is, but I'll let you know if I think he's not, or at least tell you why I think that is. So the controversy, well, not really controversy, but and I have to tell you, I live in Idaho, and I'll be the first to say we can do a lot more for victims' rights. That's just how it is here. Again, we have a surplus of money. I can think of all kinds of ways to spend it. A lot of people can. This is one way I'd like to see it spent, or policies, legislate. And that's why I'm glad I'm there. I do think I'm there. I don't know exactly why I'm there to help, but I think it will work, that I will have some kind of body of work to maybe show a lawmaker or legislator or my professors later and say, hey, this is what happened. And, this case that's really so complicated. It's not that hard to understand. Let me walk you through this. So in any case, the statutory definition of a victim actually does the victim's family, as in when the victim is deceased in Idaho, it specifies pretty much, like, I was surprised to see mother-in-law, father-in-law, mother, father, brother, sister. But, grandparents weren't on there. And I remember hearing for a long time that, we need to do something about grandparents' rights in Idaho, perhaps. However, I do think if I could have possibly heard a few people gasp, I don't know. But when Archibald did make the comment that, well, basically that she may call herself grandma, as in Kay, but it's because she chooses to do that. We all know that's not true. So we all know that JJ referred to Kay as grandma and mama, I think. And even Lori, we have videos of her doing that. So it's not. However, the law defines Kay and Larry as the aunt and uncle. That is adoption law. That's just how it is. That's not even just an Idaho thing. So, we're not at fault on this point. So that's how it is. And I, however, it does say, by the way, that it doesn't mean that Kay and Larry will not be able to be in the courtroom for the entire time. It's just they'll just have to give their testimony beforehand, and then they'll be able to attend. So if I understand that correctly, I don't think that's as bad. I was under the impression, and I think a lot of people were too, that meant that they couldn't be in the courtroom at all.
Yeah. That's what, and then I was thinking about that later. I'm like, well, then just call them first. Solve.
Yeah. So
call them first.
But
and release them,
my heart, when I heard that, I will say I not just empathy, I sympathize, but I was like, ouch, that hurt. Ow. But I'm going to thicken my skin, and because I'm going to probably hear a lot more, and you know what? We're going to know for a fact that Lori is getting the kind of defense that we all deserve. So she's got that zealous defense thing going for her. So just let it play out and have faith and hope that none of this gets, overturned at appeals or something like that. I do feel it was overall a good experience today, I felt, and I just took notes. And does anybody have any questions? Oh, I did notice, by the way, did I tell you that they did say at some point, Rob Wood did say that potentially Samantha and Jason Williams could potentially be witnesses too. So I thought, and I hope they are.
Okay.
And so
that's Tammy's sister.
Correct. And I didn't hear any updates on the Douglases. I'm guessing.
About them if being able to be there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, that's something that perhaps can we may have to find a remedy for in a different fashion. And this is part of the reason why I'm doing this, and I know you do this, too. So I did see some victim witness coordinators. They're wearing their jackets with their in on their lapels. It said, I thought about saying hi, but I didn't.
Larry weren't there, were they? They weren't there yet.
I did not see them there. No, and in fact, I didn't see Nate or Justin either. Perhaps maybe this was part of the last minute. I mean, I'm lucky I saw it, and I'm glad I did. But yeah.
Ruby's asking a question. She said, "Who has the problem with Kay in court? The judge?"
Well, he had questions. How's that? We know it doesn't seem like it's been brought up by the defense. I assumed it was the defense, but there isn't, unless, but it could be just the judge. Just, he is being advised by other judges at this time. So maybe they said, "Hey, Judge Boyce, you may want to consider, we don't want this to be an appellate issue." Maybe Judge Boyce did bring it up to be spiteful. I did not get that feeling. However, I nothing surprises me with this case. But
I gotta let my dogs out real quick. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
Oh, sure. And let's see if I can find out anything else interesting that you all may want to know. Oh, I do feel that Rob would, and if you listen to the transcripts, you'll say, "Hey, I know that this is." He'll just outright says, "I'm not making a legal argument here. This is more of a policy argument." But it did seem like something that Judge Boyce was taking under advisement as like an administrative remedy. I don't know if that makes sense, but something on that. So there's that. I thought he did a good job, but I also will say, as harsh as it sounded, I do think that Archibald made a good point, and I once I kind of let the emotions go with that, I'm like, well, he could have a point. I don't know, and you can't pin this one on Idaho though, because adoption law is pretty universal. So, and everybody was very nice. I did meet a few other people today, and I can't remember everybody's names. And Lori actually introduced me to a couple ladies who seemed really nice. And hello, if you're in the chat. I don't think I introduced myself or said what I was doing. I think they just thought I was there. And but yeah, it was a rainy day today and a little chilly, and yes, I was there to hear that potential witnesses that may also be attending the trial at Colby, Summer Shiflett, Kay and Larry. I didn't quite understand what that meant. Maybe Annie. I would have thought that Annie would have attended or been a witness regardless of if the death penalty is on the table. I'm not really certain why they said now that the death penalty is off the table. Oh, yeah, I was talking about the...
Yeah, I can hear it. I had my head, but
oh, good. Yeah.
It's a really good question, because I didn't understand that either. They said because Annie, the death penalty is off the table, Annie's no longer a witness. Why? I don't get it. I don't understand that.
Yeah, you mean, does she only want to testify? Or maybe it's that, or to me, I'm guessing. That's a good question for Lori Hellis or maybe Annie. Maybe I don't know if I want to reach out and ask Annie. She's always very open and very nice and very professional. But if next time I see Lori, I'll bring it up, right? Yeah. I'm finding that it's probably best for everybody if I just take a neutral approach, as neutral, and everybody can go look at every comment I've ever made on YouTube, and they'll see I've said not nice things about people, and especially Lucifer.
Oh, yeah, well, join the club, right?
So, but yeah, it just feels like that it's honor the kids and honor the family. Is just do the best I can to and I've enjoyed it, by the way. I felt healthy all day. I didn't feel lightheaded or anything, and I was a little slow to think and kind of understand, but hey, I'll give myself a break. And just so yeah, it went really well. It was a nice little way to kind of break myself into the situation.
Yes, that was a good little.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, because it wasn't fully crowded, and I'm a woman of a certain age, we'll say, so of course the thought of everybody together and all that body heat, I was a little, oh no, how am I going to deal with this? But it was funny because another gal that she before I could even, she must have known what I was thinking, because she said it herself. But it's like, oh yeah, me too. And so I mean, you're a labor delivery nurse, so I'm sure my kids will be, Mom, how could you? Anyway, it's just how it is.
Something cold on your wrist. Like we used to at work, I would get the hot flashes, and I put my wrists under cold water, like I gotta wash my hands. But maybe like little, I don't know, alcohol wipes or something in your purse.
Yeah, something cold, just in case, because I imagine that courtroom is going to be
on the pressure point. You just put a little, if you get
it really does. It's so funny how little things can go so far. And but yes, I wish you could have been there, but I know that you're working hard, and it just kind of seems like maybe the West case needs your attention right now.
Well, I want to be everywhere right now. And West Case is literally only a 3-hour drive for me, but I can't go there either because I just
Yeah.
can't take off work. It's a bummer. I took
Yeah.
off so much in February because my brother died. I was off. I was on. I was off. I've been like, I'm leaving. Now I'm going back to where my kids are. Now I'm coming, taking my mom here, and then we're going to their funeral. We had bereavement, but I added in a lot of extra PTO with that too. So
Well,
I'm kind of
I
that.
appreciate, and I know so many people. It's these kind of things. You have no idea how appreciated it is that you've done all this work until I mentioned what you do. I mentioned you to a few people in my family and some like my hairdresser and wow, that's great. Oh wow, she did that. That is so cool. And it just seems like people just don't realize that they too can do this, and you just did it, Kathy. You did it and you've done a great job and it's really made a difference. I mean, it's made a
Well,
difference for
hopefully,
me. I wouldn't
hopefully it
know.
did something. I
It
mean,
did. And it really did. And I know you're not doing this as like to pat yourself on the back or anything. It's just wow, you know, like and I think part of your appeal too, by the way, because you're a nurse, plus you're fun and the former flight attendant. I do think that there's something to, just the average Joe type person with a YouTube channel, just telling it like it. People seem to respond to that. I could be wrong. I know I did.
I think we
So
have a really good community. And I think if you look at
yes.
my analytics, if you look at my demographics, it's people like us. We are,
Okay.
we are,
Oh,
we are the
good. So,
people.
so we're
Yeah.
all attracting. We're all attracting the right people, and
Yes.
that's good
It's
because I'm
interesting,
hoping.
right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm hoping not to attract mean people who just want to slam each other. Or, I
Yeah.
I kind of
Well,
outgrew that.
we only had to boot one today so far. I don't know if my mods booted anybody. There was somebody in there saying something nasty, and I gave them a timeout, and I don't think they came back, so that was good. But most of the
Oh,
people that come into my live streams now, when I first started, there was a lot of trolls and then sometimes when I start following a new case, they come out of the woodwork, and there's some really kind of nasty people every once in a while show up, but they go away. And I think we've got a really nice, solid community now Left Undone. You can
yeah,
tell by
yeah,
in the Discord, we're all friends in there and we talk about everything every day. We have our pet channel, our
yeah.
question of the day, stuff like that. So
Yeah, it really is. It's welcome to the digital age, and
right.
yeah, it's just that, and I think that you really started something here that I know that this is a community where I felt when I felt like, well, I could do this. I felt everybody gave me that little boost of courage, I guess, because I'm not so certain. Let's just say I didn't know anybody from. I don't know that I would have felt the confidence to say, hey, that's something I could do. I really don't. And and it wouldn't it be nice if somebody in Kern County said, "Hey, I've got some time. Why don't if
Yes.
I'm just saying that we could be onto something here, and it's really well for me. I had no idea I was going to get sick and be off work for like a month. So this has been really good for me for a lot of reasons, but mostly I get to hang out with you guys, and we get to talk about getting justice for these people after we've been following them for 3 years.
There's your answer right there. Mama D has it. Annie was only going to be used in the penalty phase if the death penalty was in.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Oh
Yay. Good
gosh, that was.
answer.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody had the answer to that because I was stumped um and but otherwise yeah, that was something I had a question about. Let's see if I have any others that maybe somebody.
And I just want to say, Kathy Barella, thank you so much for the condolences. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
These guys have been in the talking about the firing squad and the I can see in the chat they got a lot going on about the death penalty in there.
Yeah,
They're discussing it. They're discussing it. I can see the
and
chat.
whether you're for it or against, I'll just say straight up, it's not used that much in Idaho. It's a safe place to live, yes, because we give people who smoke pot 7 years, and I'm really not joking. I really am
Still?
not. Yeah, well, I think we
Still?
have relaxed on the marijuana, but
Okay.
a first time, like just for possession of narcotics, you were looking at 7 years.
Yeah.
And of course, we have our drug courts and everything. And in my honest opinion, and I didn't have to qualify. Probably every judge will actually agree with me. We don't have the resources to really make those programs successful, in my opinion. It's just so many people fall through the cracks. And so yeah, it's a safe place to live, but it's tough. And then you see people who really, okay, so they've got a drug problem, but we're putting them in a prison system and they become criminals, if you know what I mean. So it's just, but yeah, it's still a nice place to live and it's overall safe. And, but you know, God forbid that happens to your kid or somebody, knock on wood, you know, it's tough.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, but you know, I guess, you know, we still have, without the death penalty on the table, we don't know what Arizona's going to do when she gets down there. So, you know, they could do this. I mean, who knows what's going to happen down there. And I heard that the prisons in Arizona are a heck of a lot worse than the prisons.
Yeah, because here they're cake compared to other places, and I'm scared of them here. I mean, they're that bad. They're bad here, in my opinion. If it could even get worse, I'd really be scared. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I was looking for nurses for prisons. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I really did enjoy all the nurses I worked with. And they loved it too. But they've all. Pretty much everybody that works there says, "Well, it's not for everybody." But
no, yeah, for me. I'm used to.
You have to wipe that flight attendant smile right off your face and be. That was first day. Don't smile. I'm serious. Stop smiling.
Yeah, no, I'd be in trouble.
No, it's after all those years that you've worked as a flight attendant, where you know we're people and customer service oriented. No, it was weird for me. I will say it was good for me to do it like that, but it was weird. I have to say, it's just not me to put on a stone face and say as little as possible. But you have to, because they will manipulate everything you do, and they're good at it. They just are. So
Stace on the case says, my brother is a prison nurse in Sacramento, but he only tends to the employees and travels a lot. Well, I can do that.
Yeah, well, because the employees get hurt all the time too. The injuries. I mean, corrections officer, they have one of the highest levels of PTSD. Not joking.
Really?
They have, and their injuries are. I get it. That makes perfect sense. And I would say if Idaho were a bigger prison, we would probably have a medical staff dedicated only to, like prison staff. But yeah, there's probably, I'd say at least one or two injuries every single day at the facility I worked, which by the way, the facility I worked with held like maybe 800 people altogether.
Really?
Yeah, there's only 8,000 prisoners total in the entire state of Idaho. And of course, in California, that's like one prison. So I don't know if that helps people get an idea of what Lori will be facing in Idaho. But you know,
there's a nurse in Wisconsin.
And I just keep thinking all the things that Lori was able to get away with just through her charm and through her, and anybody who thought for a second they were doing her favors when she was saying all this fucked up stuff, and nobody stepped in. It's just, I mean, I will never forget that. I mean, I know that's a lesson I will take to heart forever. You know, if I hear
Ruby,
friends,
good night, go to bed. It's middle of the night where you live, and she's in the UK. Night.
Oh, thanks, Ruby, so much. Just I think this is a case I'll make us all stop and think. I know it did for me. To be honest, I think. Yeah, on a surface, I really don't think I would have been good friends with Melanie Gibb for very long. Or I would never been like good friends, but I could have seen myself like interacting like, oh yeah, they're a nice person. And little do you know.
Travel nursing makes big bucks. My friend Joan, who I do everything with, I don't know if you guys ever follow anything else that I do, like my travel channel. I have a travel channel. It's called Beyond the Empty Nest. We go on vacation and stuff, and she's doing travel nursing right now, and she's literally living in her RV in Sedona, Arizona, working at a hospital up there, and she makes good money. Travel nursing is not for me. I can't do it. I won't do it. I like to know where stuff is. I like to know the people. I want to know the doctors I work with, but it is a great way to make some good money.
Oh yeah. And I worked with a lot of travel nurses too. It really did seem cool, but it was like a new face like every day. And I was like, That's weird. I mean, to me, it was just different. And of course, we're flight attendants. We work with different people
I
every
know,
day,
but it's just
Kathy. So,
different though. Like
yeah,
hospitals are weird, and then they're like,
yeah,
"Go get this or go get that." Like we have to crash patients to the OR, and then the doctor's like, "I need this sutures," and everybody else is scrubbed in but you, and you're like, "Okay, where is it?" Like over
yeah,
there, up, down, turn, and then you're like, "Where's this? Where's that?" I just like knowing where shit is. Like that is
I
my thing. Like
kind
I
of,
want to know where stuff is. I
yeah,
do
I
not like
can,
running around. Where's this? And then some nurses are like, "What?" I'm just more
yeah.
of like, I need my little home. The airplane was fine because the people were a little bit different, but they were fun and they were also flight attendants. But then,
Yeah, and everything's always the same place on the airplane. In the
yeah,
airplane,
yeah,
everything has a spot. No, you can be on a different type of aircraft, but you're still going to be very well trained on. And if something's out of place, oh, that's a problem. I mean, and I'm sure every hospital room looks. Of course, it's different everywhere you go. Whereas every airplane is very, if
and
it's
you, yeah, and then well, there are some asshole flight attendants that you work with, but the doctors are can be really great, but a lot of doctors do not like new people, and they don't like faces they don't know, and they don't know if they
yeah,
trust you with their patient, and they want to micromanage you, and like once you get
oh,
to
that's
know
that's aviation too. Yeah, yeah,
the
aviation. A
doctors I
little not like that, but yeah.
the doctors I worked with were, once they trust you with your patients. They're like, go ahead, do whatever you want. Yep, you can
Okay,
do it.
yeah, I can see.
Because I do inductions and different things with
Yeah.
the
So
patient, and
with
there's a lot of
with
interventions with labor and delivery.
with the doctor personality be like what we used to call the pilot personality. Like, and I mean that with all
Some of
respect,
them.
by the way, all
Yeah,
respect.
we can close the door on them, the pilots.
Yeah, right, exactly. You have to sit there and actually work with, yeah, yeah, and I'll just bring up the pilots again because I remember so many pilots, and I'm talking male pilots, the general, the typical, the stereotypical, I guess. I'd meet him, and I never want to see that person again. Then you're on their trip with them forever, and then years later, you're like best friends because you've been through so much shit together. So,
Right, exactly. All
just like that.
right.
All right, well, Kathy, thanks so
I think we're done. What do you think? I thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to you being at that trial and
Yeah,
telling us
I wish I could do more. I'll try and tune in, see what I can do see what I can do to help with the West case. And I'll do some Googling tonight and find out. But I know you've got to get back to your stuff. And thank you so much for sharing. And
This
if
weekend's going to be tough. I'm in a training. I'm getting my doula certificate to be a doula because, I'm not
oh,
doing enough. So I might
fantastic.
as well do something else too.
Right. Yeah, Kathy, I just think that you're somebody that really you need a you need a hot no, no, please. Thanks for all you do though, and I'll bet all your patients love you. And I'm obviously not going to have babies anytime soon, but if I were, you would be my doula.
Thank you. And I got a plan for, it's kind of like a big plan. Like if I can eventually not work full time and I can do my doula and I can do this, then I'm doing that's fine. It's
Yeah,
perfect, because then I
I
have the flexibility for everything.
and by the way, and I do think that you have a demographic of people that have the ability to help versus like other demographics
Yes,
or
you guys are awesome.
yeah, or we care. It's just Kathy, you're doing it the right way. We all know it. And it's just keep doing what you're doing. And because I have a feeling that you're onto something. And I'm really glad I found your YouTube channel.
Well, thank you for being here and being a member
Yeah.
and
Thanks for letting
helping
me
us
help.
out.
Thanks.
It's
Yeah.
a
I'm still
collaboration for sure.
trying to explain. I told somebody today, I said, I'm a graduate student because I think that works. And, I'm not, because I am there to like as a mom, but I'm there working, and because I really do feel like I've got something that maybe I think people will listen.
Yeah, I do too.
Just
I think
take
you'll
down the facts, and if not today, if not tomorrow, maybe the next year or the year after that. So it'll help my social work, public policy type of career that I've been having and will continue to have.
great. That's so cool. All right,
Thanks,
we're gonna
Kathy.
go.
Take care. See you
All right,
later. Take care. Bye
bye
bye.
everybody. Thanks. All right, everybody. I will be back soon, and keep you posted. I'll take notes tomorrow again. And if anybody else wants to jump in with the West Case info, if you're listening in, that'd be great. very much appreciate it.